Well, hello.
Go ahead, Erica.
No, I be always ready because I don't like that. But anyway, hello, 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 Jillian. How's it going, sis?
It is going wonderful. I'm excited. It is a Monday and it's
Mhm.
sunny and we're in Michigan, and so I'm excited.
Girl, long day today. Well, I know we had to work and we had other things to do, but we cannot never let a Monday go past without giving a Moms in a Huddle episode, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, who are you, Erica? Introduce yourself again. So,
Well, if people don't know, first I like people to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, X, whatever it is, to where you're able to go and be able to look at old videos too. I mean, go and look at the other old videos. But I am Erica Morgan. I am the mother. I have two boys. Tyler is my oldest son. He's 27, but Samaj is the reason that I'm here in the huddle starting something. He plays at the University of Michigan. He is a wide receiver going into his third season. We
wow.
believe in God for a
Time.
great season for him and his team, for them to have a healthy, healthy, healthy season, for them to dominate and go back to the natty. So I
Yeah.
am the mom of one of the greatest young men to have ever graced the earth because he's my
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah, that's right. So I have three sons. Mackenzie, we call him Big Mac. Jonathan Christian Perry Blackwell, his full name.
Right.
And
Oh,
I also have a son, my youngest, the 17-year-old, little Robert Blackwell. And the reason why I'm in the huddle today is because I also have a son who plays in the Big Ten at University of Wisconsin. Go Badgers! I did have on a Badger sweatshirt, but I was entirely too hot and knew I was going to be flat.
right.
Um, and so that's why we're in a huddle. And I am excited about this topic tonight.
Yeah, we got Tony in the house. Hi, Tony.
Hi,
Hi.
Tony.
Yeah. So tonight is a special night, guys. If you don't know already, this is the night to ask questions.
Yes,
It's
it
going to be
is.
just me and Jillian tonight. You can go to our Instagram. We're going to try to look at some of the Facebook Live posts, Instagram,
YouTube.
YouTube, but it is easier to go on our YouTube and we're able to see your comments almost immediately. Hi, Jody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank
Yes,
you.
come on in, come on in. Well, tonight's episode is really about money, not
Mm,
just any money. So we brought in folks to talk about money and finances, but tonight we're talking about your student athletes' money. And the
yeah.
question we're asking is, Mama, whose money is it anyway? Or dad or auntie or sister or cousin? Whose money is it?
Who's
Right? That's
is
the
it?
big question. And that's the question that when people, regardless if it's a student athlete or not, just when people come into a certain amount of money,
Hmm.
people start asking. Because I've been there. And so I'm excited about tonight's conversation.
Yeah, listen, the ink is not dry on a lot of these boys' contract before everybody got their hands out. Think about it, Jillian. The ink is not dry. When
Yes.
you're looking at boys, some kids, they have a little money coming up, or they may not. But then you get some kids that may come from different classes of family. No matter what class you come from, I think a lot of people, parents, friends, family, anyone included, are looking at how to spend your money, right? Because
Yeah.
think about it. Before our boys start making money, Jillian, whose pockets were they in?
Mine, yours, your husband's, any auntie, everybody.
Right. So, and that's the thing. That's why we're talking about whose money is it anyway? I mean, you're not asking the question in the negative. You're asking the question in the positive.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
when you think about money and making money, it's always a good thing. But
Right. Yeah. So yeah,
we're
so we're talking about the whole gamut, the parents, the friends, the cousins twice removed who suddenly
Mhm.
remember your Instagram, your post, they DM and they doing all that. Again, it's an interesting position to put a young person in. And so
Mhm.
we just want to ask that question. So, I'm excited to dive right in. So let's just dive right in.
Yeah, Jody say so true. Kids are in parents' pockets, period. You are so
Period.
right, Jody. They are. Period. It doesn't matter if they have money. Mom, kind of you got some money, you got it don't matter if they got money, right?
Yeah, they stay in your pocket.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm excited to talk about this topic because I think that I want to go back to a lot of people talked about Kobe Bryant, right? The
Mhm.
reason I'm going to start there is because there is a lot of things that people talk about that Kobe's parents did for him growing up. But then it says that some things kiltered off when he got older. and maybe he wasn't as close with his parents. I don't know why. I'm not certain if it was because of money. I would hate for that to have been the reason, but I don't know, right?
Right.
But what
Right.
we do know is that his parents got him to a level, if it were not for his parents,
Yeah.
he probably would not have ended up where he was going to end up on his own. And that's
Yeah.
the real question. That's why we're here, right?
Right.
Jillian,
Absolutely.
let's start with the parents. Jillian, you know the list of things in which we have, and they have gas money, hotel rooms, team fees, new cleats every season. It's not cheap raising an athlete, is it?
No, absolutely not. I mean, when I think about it, some parents have basically like poured their entire retirement fund into travel teams, right?
Yeah.
And so I get it. So when the money starts coming in, you feel like, hey, this is, especially if you're in business, you like, this is return on my investment. I remember years ago when my husband, so we have 3 boys, and again, he's a coach, so he's always going to be there. He was always at every game. He was always taking them on travel basketball, and so he was taking them, and then he couldn't take them one time, and he asked me to come in and fill in. It might have been for my oldest son. It was travel basketball, and not only we were traveling, when we got to the state, we were going from gym to gym.
Right.
And so I've always been in corporate America. I'm always, worked either worked on contracts or, working with business. And again, we're always talking about our return on our investment. So I started doing the calculation. I think he might have been like in the 5th, 6th grade. I said, now again, it's our oldest. So we haven't even started with our 2nd and 3rd travel.
Right.
So I started doing the math. I was like, this can be expensive. And I started looking it up. And I think they said, in order for your son or daughter to make Division I basketball, not saying that you think about every parent that was there thought their child was LeBron James, but they said just to go to a Division I school, the chances was 0.04%. So you make this huge investment. You certainly want them to go D1 or whatever school, but just to make to D1, your chance was 0.04%. So when you think about, again, you made this return on your investment, and now that they have some little money, you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, because whatever you sow, you want to reap, right?
Yes.
So that's why we're talking about this today. Parents sow a lot into, and I'm not going to really give my answer or totally what I think, because I want people to really join the conversation with us. There's no wrong answer. There is no wrong thought about this, but it's something to think about. Yeah. Exactly. I know Tony said the first $1 million belongs to the parents, period. Come through, Tony, because here, you know why? I will say this. I love it. And then we have Jody say 100% agree. Now, here's the thing, Jillian, you talked about investments, right? And we all expect that when we put money into the stock market, right, for us to get a return on our investment, it may start off little, it may start off, big gain, but
you want some kind of return.
But do we really look at our kids now? That's the next question, Jillian, as an investment.
Yeah.
So then now we got to really think about, are they our children or are they an investment? And here's where the real conversation comes in. You see a kid, right? They have talent, they have skill. Because this isn't talk for every kid. This is talk for kids that are now getting money, whether they are child actors or star, or even when you're thinking about college athletes, right? Are your children an investment when you've put things and sacrificed things for them, right? So if they are, then when they start reaping the benefits of having money or NIL deals and being in this thing of, I now have money, then here's the thing. Should we consider them an investment? So that's the question.
That's a good question. Are they an investment? I think we make an investment in them because if you think about it, all parents should want their children to do better than they are.
Absolutely.
So you use the resources that you have to put them in the best position that they can be successful in whatever it is, whatever it is they're trying to pursue, whether it's, we're talking about athletics, but you talk about, you put them in the best schools so they can get exposure to advance in the alumni in a high school, right? Sometimes that's why people pay for private schools. You want to make an investment so they can go to the best colleges and universities so they'll have a better chance. So yes, it's an investment that you want them to be successful. That's an absolute good question. Are they an investment? I think they are, but it's our opportunity to invest in them. And so go ahead. I'm sorry, Eric, go ahead.
No, I'm listening. That's good. You're right.
Yeah. And so when you think about that, if you using that same scenario about when I talked about you go, with multiple children, camp to camp, cleats, uniforms, gym shoes, team fees, all of that, do you look at, okay, I made this investment, I'm expecting some type of return. And what is that return? Is the return is you have a better life than I did? So I'm happy for you.
Your Day Brown said absolutely. He like, so here's the thing. There are parents out there that are sitting here thinking like, wait a minute now. I've invested all this money into you. I probably didn't have any money myself to really take you on a lot of these things. A lot of parents don't, Jillian. I mean, thank God that you can be blessed, or maybe I can be blessed and we can take them. But there were moments in which I'm like, okay, we got to go out of town again. And then when you go out of town, you got to eat. It's just so much when you think about it. You got to eat. Then, every other thing, they got to make sure that they look uniform when they go on with their team, they squad. And then for my son, when he went out of town, we went out of town for basketball and football. And then dude was just out here like, okay, I want to go play basketball. I want to go play football. Okay, so you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off. But ultimately, here is what my wish is, Jillian, and I'm gonna kind of just seal it in this thing. Yes, I make the initial investment into you, right? And I'm doing it from my heart, expecting nothing in return, right? Mm-hmm. So when you become an adult and you're making money, then it's something that should pull at your heart to say, you know what?
Mom,
they don't have to ask me for nothing.
That's good.
My mom and dad, initially, we haven't even gotten to friends and family yet. Let's talk just with the parents. My mom and dad did things expecting nothing in return. Yes, I have this talent. Yes, I'm about to go make millions or however many hundreds of thousands. But I, just like they did for me, I want to let them know
that I'm appreciative.
I'm appreciative, and I'm doing it for you, expecting nothing in return. There's a gift in exchange here. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the ideal for kids. And I want to put our comments up here today. And this is why it's so important to have a deeper conversation. Tony ain't playing. Tony said that the first $1 million should go to the parents with no hesitation.
With no hesitation.
Investment of time, money, and what? Sacrifices.
Yeah.
So we're getting in, and they're not playing. Jody said, come on. God even asked us to give back to him with the talents he has given us. Surely in the natural, give back to parents or whomever help you get to where you need to. You know what? We got people on here that understands what it means to have invested in kids. And if y'all don't know already from the pictures, I love my sisters. Look at them. They just showing up. Look at it.
Looking like triplets.
I know. One sister, and that's the other sister. Because you know what? We're going to actually be bringing our sisters on too. So they're going to come on and just talk.
I'm right here texting all my sisters. I'm like, y'all better contribute. That's why you see my head down. I'm texting my friends and my family. I want them to join in the conversation.
This is the huddle. We want everybody in.
This is the huddle. So you bring up some interesting facts. So you got to ask yourself on the flip side, are we raising our kids to be grateful adults or to feel like they owe us for being parents? Like I had, I won't tell you one particular child who made this comment, but I've heard kids make these comments. Well, I didn't ask you born. That was you and daddy made that.
Ooh, that's what they said?
Oh, you and daddy made that decision. I didn't ask to be born.
Wow.
What if the parents are together? Good question.
Oh, you know what, Day Day? I think that's your name, Day Day Brown. I will say That's a very good question. When parents aren't together, sometimes kids feel maybe they have to choose a side or pick a parent, or
Ooh,
you got mom over here. Let's look at it from this lens, right? We have a kid. Let's just say he goes off to college. He makes his first 100,000 at college. Let's just say it's only 100,000.
right.
And
Now,
when you
I'm sorry. I want to pause right there for a second because you said only, and it is something that's a look. Look at the
I'm
stage
about
that we're
to say
in.
it.
Go
You
ahead,
right.
keep going.
You
Okay,
right,
okay.
Jillian.
Yeah.
If you may have been a family that is in poverty, or a family that don't have $100,000 could be like $1,000,000 to you, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
what'll happen is that check comes in, right? Mama has done this and invested, but then daddy start coming back around. You get what I'm saying? And then we have certain things to where daddy didn't make the investment that mama made, or mama didn't make the investment that daddy made, or it wasn't made together, because some kids don't have two-parent households. But when parents aren't together, then I guarantee you the type of kids you have will determine if they will get back to you or not.
Yes.
You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, and then if you do
And what
come
type
from low income, you may say, this is all I got, not realizing you got taxes to take out.
Yes.
You have other things like your regular daily to live, and that's just 100,000 a year that kids may be getting at this time, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then you got then your relationship with your children is then magnified, right?
Hmm.
So if you haven't had that relationship that you poured into them before those assets and those financial opportunities start coming in, now the child is now questioning your what? What is your motive, parent?
Ooh.
Motive, cuz you wasn't around, and so you got to
Mm.
question: how do I want to be viewed? I don't want you just got to check your heart. Like, why am I really here?
That's
Am I
it.
here but because of the fame and not even the fame, just the finances? And so you never wanted to be in a position where your child is questioning your motives.
That's
That's a
true.
horrible position to be in. And so you got to ask, we talked about the parents. We talked about, it is sacrifices that we have made.
Yeah.
We chose to make those sacrifices. That's our role. I remember I had a conversation with one of Jonathan's AAU. Actually, he wasn't talking about John. I think he might have been talking about my younger son, and we were talking about reclassing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't like the whole idea of students reclassing or going to, staying in that
Yeah.
instead of going up. And what Marcel said this, Marcel Smith, he said, Jillian, it is the responsibility of the parent to put their child in the best position. He said it's legal. It's not illegal for you to reclass. And so at that time, again, he was talking about the Michigan High School Athletic Association. If they change the game, the rules, you play the games to support your child's future. So the point that I'm making, I use that example of taking the opportunity to allow your child to grow and develop instead of going on to the next grade so he can have more playing time. That's an opportunity for you to put them in the best position. So again, it's decisions that we're always making on behalf of our children.
Yeah.
Have them be successful. And so I think it's a lot to think about from parents. Whose money is it? Is it a return on our investment? Are they an investment?
Absolutely. I think all of the above. I know
Yeah.
Tony said that if both parents made the sacrifice, it should go to both parents. But if one parent made the sacrifice, all money should go to that parent.
Yeah.
And Jody is putting in here, Jody, give us the word. To whom much is given, they are able to give much, and much is expected, period.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing. People are not playing with this when it comes to
No.
what happens. And I will say, in our community, when I'm talking about us, hey, most people know what you mean when it's us. We're
Right.
not playing with you when it comes down to where if we helping you and doing stuff. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
This is something in which you have to understand that kids don't even know how to manage the money that is coming into them. So now our next job as parents, Jillian, is what? It's to help them manage the money that is coming in. So it's not, okay, that's your money. You do what you want with it anyway. No, it's how do you manage this money, 18-year-old? So who's keep on when I say this, who's continuing to work on behalf of their child?
Yeah,
The
it's a
parent.
it could be a full-time job.
It is a full-time job.
It is. If your son or daughter comes into a significant amount of money, you want to make sure one that that legally they establish themselves correctly.
Yes.
That they are putting their money aside for taxes. They're investing wise, because when I heard somebody talk about the financial advisors that might be looking at me. I'm more senior than my child. I won't tell you what my age is. Erica be telling her age.
I'm 47.
Okay. I'm just a little bit older than Erica, but just a little bit. But the type of investment, financial investment, and advice I might get at my age, me and my husband, it might be a little bit different for my son Jonathan, right?
That's right.
Because we want to make sure like we're not necessarily trying to buy a house. We own a house, but they might be telling Jonathan that. So you want to make sure you're giving them wise advice for their livelihood and for their future. Like when you get married, you want to have your future wife already set up. So don't spend all your money on the gold chains and the earrings and all that other stuff.
Yeah, sometimes. But they should be able to spend their money on what they want, right? It's sometimes. Hi, Mac, very professional. Thank you for joining in with us, Mac, today. We appreciate you.
Yes.
What else is going on? What did Jody say? Yes, Erica. Kids don't know how to handle money. They will always need guidance. We all do, even as adults. That's true, because we go to financial planners. Now, Tony did ask a question. Let me see. She said, what are some ways as parents you can help your child govern their money when they do get a lot of NIL deals? Now, I will say for Samaj, when he started earning NIL money, I mean, NIL money from multiple sources, not just from his school. One of the first things we did, we got him an accountant, a financial planner that we meet with. We also got him an attorney so that we know what's going on. We created an avenue around him, and what the financial planner did for him, they opened him up a retirement account. So this young man, by the age of 18, was investing in his retirement. They opened him up a SEP account, which is SEP. They opened up a Roth IRA account, a savings account, a tax account, and just a regular checking account, to where this is the money that you can use, but all this other money get paid first before you even use your money. Yeah. So as parents, that's what we've done to help him govern the money that he has coming in, because Jillian, you and I both know, for a lot of kids, most kids may only make money in college and may not go to the next level, right? So if you don't, what you do now will help your kid build upon that success, or hinder them, and then they have large tax bills, or they have all these things out there hanging. So what are some of the things you guys did for Jonathan?
Well, the first thing we did, I mean, we sat down with a financial advisor, and something that you said earlier, we let him understand his spending habits.
I like that.
So we allowed him to spend, and then we sat him down and said, now we want you to see all, because they just spending, they just swiping, right. What was that? And so we sat down with him and went through, look how much money you've spent. And we developed a chart to say, so if you continue this pattern for the next couple of years, you will, you won't have anything, or here's some things that you can invest in. So and this was the advice that I probably wouldn't have done that. This was the advice that our financial advisor, give him, put some money aside and let him spend. And he needs to see his habits, right?
Yes.
And he's 20. So when I say we allow, we still, it's his money, right?
Yes.
But we allowed him to spend, and then we pulled him in.
And
look at this. Now if we would have let that big old pot be right there, instead of having some type of control, you would have been swipe. Right?
And they were, because I'm gonna tell you this. One of the things, and thank you, Cynthia Resper, for joining. She said this will be a great online webinar for parents to teach them the fundamentals step by step. Cynthia,
Yeah.
it's coming. Me and Jillian have so much that we're working on. We're busy moms, but I will tell you this. This is a project of being in a huddle for so many people to where we're able to what, Jillian? It was Jillian was like, we got to educate parents, bring them in on our conversation, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing a webinar because this is something that is good. She like, great, rock it, get it going.
That's thank you, Cynthia. And this girl is phenomenal. We call her Miss AI. If you want to know anything about artificial intelligence,
AI,
Cynthia Retsberg. So thank you so much, CJ. Throw your company name in the chat, please do that.
Cynthia, we would love to support you too, and parents do too. And that's another reason of being in a huddle. If you have a business, if you have things that you're doing and you want to throw your stuff up, then come throw it up. Let us know what you're doing because you're in the huddle with us anyway. So
absolutely.
I will say, let's see. Jody mentioned, she said, how much does an accountant cost approximately? This is valuable info for people who come into a lot of money, such as athletes. I will say, an athlete typically, not an athlete, an accountant is not only handling, this is what we notice, your money when tax time comes, right? Mm-hmm. So it's every month that your accountant is reaching out to you. I know for us, Samaj has a nonprofit and he also has an LLC, right? So his LLC, which is an S Corp, we turned it into an S Corporation, but his nonprofit and LLC has monthly things that we talk to our accountant every single month. Yeah. So the cost on top of your taxes is your account talking with you. They have information about your bank account. They know what's coming out. They tell you, okay, wait a minute, what is this here? They're going to ask you about what's in your spending habits that they don't recognize because they had to do what, Jillian? They had to classify it before they're able to get all that stuff. So an accountant can be very expensive. I can say a good accountant dealing with your taxes or things like that when you're a business and a smaller business, maybe for a lot of these athletes, can range from $3,000 to $8,000 a year or more, depending on what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, and you're right. I mean, I love what you said, depending on what they're doing, because one of the things you can get an accountant to do, because if you're getting multiple NIL deals and you have a agency or somebody helping, they can also do background checks for you. There's a number of things they can do for you that's not typically. A lot of people just think their accountant is doing a number. No, you can get a forensic accountant. There's all types of accounts that you can get to help you make sure you're dissecting where your money is going. And then they can also partner with your financial advisor on the best way to manage your money. And so depending on the type of accountant you get, you want to make sure that they're not just an accountant, but they also understand investments as well. So if you can do both, then
yeah, I like that, Jillian. Jody said, Jody, you just on here. I love her sister. She said, ooh, that's good. An accountant keeps one accountable. That is so true. She said, I need that one because sometimes we don't think that accountants really help us. We'll think they're just trying to take our money from certain things. But I've seen that since my kid I've had an account when I had my business and I was running my business, but I've seen where our athletes that are making money, if they don't have an accountant or financial advisor to advise them about what's happening with their monies as it come in, then they'll lose sight of it. And then before they know it, they'll be at zero really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you.
Yes.
So I want to talk about the whole topic about should they offer or to be asked? I know we hit on this a second, but so here's my question. Should a child offer to give their parents money or should the parents just come out and ask?
Okay. I'm gonna tell you this. Okay. I think both.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm not ashamed to ask. I don't know where I was at. And I don't know what happened to my car that was acting up. I said, son, send your mama some money. You know what my kid said? Oh, Ma, I got you. He sent me a little extra. And another thing, when my birthday came up, I didn't ask him.
Come on.
Do you know my son sent me hundreds of dollars? And I said, I didn't ask for all this, but only because, no, you're my mom. And I want to let you know how special you are. Go spend it on what you want, Mom. Yeah. So it is a time in which, yes, if some things going on, I've asked, yes, son, I need to send your mama some money on this because I don't know what happened here, but
Right, right. Yeah,
I don't know. It was a card that wasn't working. I said, cash happened
yeah.
to me. He's like, Mom, here you go. And here's what I can say about my kid. He's not selfish
That's beautiful.
to me
But
or his father. But here's the thing. I don't just ask to take. What it
right,
is, I see how he say, Mom, do y'all need anything?
right.
You
Yeah,
get what I'm saying?
yeah. No, well, that's beautiful. I mean, one of the things you have to you have to ask, maybe the bigger conversations about needs and boundaries. Like if you're not having that conversation, again, you got to have the conversation before the money comes in. And
Yeah.
that's when you're training up your child, right? How do we handle finances? How do we even give, we're both believers. How do you give it to God? Because God's blessed you. So you want to honor the fruit that God has given you. And in honoring, yeah, you give it to God, but you also see where there might be a need. And the scene is sometimes the need is not, or it's not asked. You observe it, right? Or you
Yes.
ask questions. And so sometimes that can be tricky, whether it's you're asking or not, but it should come from a place of gratitude and not guilt. You never want to make your child feel guilty
Yes.
about anything, right? Because God doesn't make us feel guilty. He
That's right.
doesn't condemn us. So we should never put our child in a position that they're feeling guilty about it.
Yeah, well, you're right. They shouldn't feel guilty. I didn't feel guilty when I was spending thousands of dollars traveling. So in no way should you feel guilty when I asked you for $5. I'll put it like that. Cynthia Resberg, I love it. I love it. She said, would you refuse a home purchase from your son if you knew it was not time? He was excited or short-sighted. What do you think, Jillian?
So if I just want to make sure I understand the question. So if my son wanted to buy me a house and I knew that that's all he got and I'm like, dude, don't do that. Don't do it. I mean, I have a real life example. Our son wanted to buy a car. Again, he was making some moves that were not, I just gonna be honest. He didn't even know what Carfax was. I said, did you ask for the Carfax? He's about to buy the car. So he was talking to me, but he wasn't ready. And so a home investment is major decision, right?
Yeah.
And so I think, not necessarily buy a home for parents, but maybe buy some investment property. So you have additional income coming in, but we're good. But I would probably refuse a home. I would want to make sure that he's taken care of a few things already. He's made some wise investments. And in terms of a home, I would say purchase some investment property, get some tenants in there, do a flip, do all types of things, buy a commercial property if you're financially able to do that, but not necessarily buy me a home. I'm good.
Yeah, and I think what it says, if we knew that it was not time and he was excited or, short-sighted, I think that's why you need to be involved in your kid's life, like right now financially, because they don't know what to do. Right. So if they have a lot of money saved and they just like, let me just go out and buy a house and that's it. And then you only got $50 left after you buy the house. It's great that a kid's heart is that way and they want to do it. But you're right. It's one of those things that when you're connected with your kid, they'll have the education to say, financial education, which is I'm glad that a lot of financial advisors will sit down and educate a lot of the athletes to say, no, you don't buy a home when you just dwindle out all your money. But I will say, what if there's a need where mom and dad are living at their lowest? They don't have a home. This kid gets all this money and then he go and say, I don't care. I'm going to buy a home for my mom. We didn't have nowhere to live. I think in certain circumstances, when you see that would move on a mom's heart. And in that note, I think God will provide for that family beyond what that child has just bought for his mom or dad if they didn't have a home, because some circumstances is not our circumstances, Jillian. And I think that we'll get so like, well, no, we're talking a lot of money, but everyone's circumstances is not our circumstances. We work. Thank God that we work great jobs that we work at for now. And then we are appreciative for what happens. But when I say that I'm very understanding of other people's circumstances that may say, we needed a home and I
Oh,
had to take all that we
and
had.
that's true. That's true. Because you think about people who might be pouring into rental property and their son or daughter might be in position to get them out that circumstance. That
Yeah,
certainly would make sense. But you don't want to break the bank doing that, right? You want to
yeah,
make sure you're doing that, being a good steward of your money. We got some
yeah.
folks who they're having problems down going on to LinkedIn. So I'm not LinkedIn to YouTube. So I'm over here multitasking. If you see me down here, I got folks
Okay,
saying,
me too. I'm seeing what everybody is saying too. Let's see. Joe. See, Jody called it Joe. A lot of people don't know my son does have another name. His middle name is Josiah. A lot of his family members call him Joe. So Jody says Joe is so sweet and humble. Auntie asked for $5 as a joke of you making money now. And he said, yeah, Auntie, my own daughter told me, no, Mom, $5. Like, really? You think about that. When your kids, when they be like, I'm not making that money, I am not about to give out money. But here's the thing, kids will have, when they start really making money and they have a right heart, then it's okay, like you said, Jillian, to ask and then for them to offer. I think both is appropriate.
go ahead.
No, well, we got more questions coming in, and people are asking questions. Please come and ask your questions. What's going to happen once the president put a cap on how much an athlete can receive in their NIL deals? Because right now it's not regulated. Tony, you are so right. Talk about that, Jillian. What you think?
That's a discussion that just irks me because I want to be so politically right with this. I think it is way past time for college athletes to be compensated.
Mm.
I have never seen so much attention given to these two sports, football and basketball.
Mm.
Baseball, if I have a child who is 16 years old, he can come out of high school and go play professional baseball, right?
Right.
If I had a child who was playing hockey, there's no cap on the 16-year-old, a 15-year, I mean, a 17-year-old that playing those sports. Why is there so much attention on these two sports, football and basketball? So I'll just leave it at that. It's just interesting to me that so many people want to put a chokehold on these athletes who over years and years and years, universities have made a lot of money on them. And I don't think it's unreasonable for them to be compensated. No, you can call it what you want. Is it, they're pay to play? I don't, whatever they want to call it. I think there's an opportunity for these students to do it in a way that doesn't feel like pay for play, but certainly they're bringing some value. It's so new. NIL started 5 years ago, so I still think that we're still trying to. Yeah, I still think people is trying to figure it out, but I think it's interesting. We make comments about we want smaller government, but then the government get their hands in these conversations.
Well, I said it last time, Jillian. I thought we had more things in our world to worry about than NIL money of athletes making money, especially in the highest seat of the land. And I say that because here's two things. The law just passed with House v. NCAA, right? Where the judge says, hey, for many, 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 many years, you could not make money, athletes. You could not make money for your You couldn't make money for your face being on the jersey sales. Like the Fab Five, when you think about Michigan, those boys got awards taken from them. They got things taken from them.
Yeah.
I look at Reggie Bush. Was it Reggie Bush? That he got things taken from him because they thought he received some money. And now these kids are getting money now, which is, like you say, well overdue. So my question then is, oh my gosh, this is too funny. Jody said, Agent Orange will not prevail in Jesus' name. Well, most people don't know who Agent Orange is, but I will say, let me go back to the question. That's good. Jody, you're right. He's not going to prevail in Jesus' name. And I will say, my second thing is this, Jillian, and I'm going to throw it out there. This is Moms in a Huddle. Can I be candid with you?
Yes, you can.
Do we really, really, really want all these minority children out here making more money than millionaires
Yeah.
at the rate that they're making it. And they're 17, 18, 19, and they become richer
Yeah.
than the majority of the people in this country.
And
And,
then
and
they
I,
can,
and I, yeah, I say that with a caveat of this: if not them, then who?
right. Yeah. You know, if you can put these young people first, educate them. Um, they're educated to understand where they should invest. They have potential to be owners, not just consumers of things,
Mm.
right? They're able to invest in their community. They're able to educate and train up folks that are coming behind them. They're able to collaborate, right? So now think
Yeah.
about, imagine if you got, 5 different Division 1 athletes decide to start an AI company, and now they're investing in their communities. There's so
Mhm.
much that they can do where I don't know, and I know this conversation is going going in a whole different direction, but is that a
Talking
threat?
about money.
Right? Is that a threat? Where even is it a threat to the university, right? Where they feel as though I don't have to complete my degree, and now I'm a millionaire. Now I can go invest, right? Now I can go do a number. I don't know. I just think it's an interesting conversation where we have government now involved in university sports when we got wars going on.
But think about it this way too, Jillian. What if the athletes became the collective?
Uh-oh.
See,
Did she
come
just
on,
drop the mic? Did she just
come
drop?
on, Jillian. Bring it in. Bring it in. Think about it. I remember my husband talked about this several years back. He said, Erica, he said, it can come a time where our son became a collective himself to pay to the athletes, to where
Wow.
you may not even need the collective money or the university money. Think
Wow.
about that.
Wow,
Can
that's interesting.
athletes make so much money that they become the athletes that will funnel the money down to others that come behind them,
Yeah.
which is
Wow.
going to take a lot when it comes down to it. But here's what's going to have to happen, Jillian. They're going to have to get their just due
Right.
in
Absolutely.
order to become the collective,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got to think about that. But see, not a lot of us think like that. We'll sit back and we'll say, I want my kid to make the money. They better pay my kid the money. But what about you becoming the one that's going
I
to pay
love it.
your team?
I love
You're the collective.
I love what Cynthia said. This is like the creator economy, amassing wealth faster than the traditional ways of creating wealth. That's why the accountability and education needs to grow just as fast. I absolutely believe that. Because if you're not educating people on, let me tell you what you can do with $500,000. Let me tell you what you can do with $1 million. Let me tell you what that $1 million can turn into in the next 5 years. Let me tell you the types of brands you can create behind your name. Let me tell you, who was it? My son was just telling me about some creatives that are out there. They just created like a cosmetic line, and each one of the gentlemen, each have a different like flavor. Like they start off as just regular podcast gamers.
Wow.
But they branched off because they're let's make it real, because their name, image, and likeness, because of who they are.
That's right.
They're able to look for other additional means of income, other streams of income. Now they're in selling the products and services. So it's very interesting. But I love that, Cynthia. It's like the creator economy. And we had a guest on here a couple of episodes ago when she talked about, she compared athletes to entertainers, and she said when an entertainer starts, they're starting at the bottom, like they're trying to get seen, they're doing concerts, and essentially they get their due, right? They become this global star and they're making millions. You got some athletes, as soon as they get that one contract, whether it's in college and or professional, that they didn't have to work as much as an entertainer. And that was an eye-opener for me when she mentioned that.
That was an eye-opener. I do remember her when she talked about that people start somewhere, and in order, they do everything when they start off, and then eventually they can say what they're not going to take with different deals. But you're exactly right. This is one of those things where the sky or the universe or the solar system really is the limit when it comes down to it.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
Jillian, we gotta switch gears.
Yes, yes, yes.
We got a question here. Say, hey, moms in the huddle. Myth. How do you ladies handle girlfriends and or family members that may try to have a hand in their money? I.e., look at Travis Hunter. I'm just saying, ooh, I know, Julie. I look like that little thing you just said. Ooh,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
we call them "Can I hold something" crew. Can I hold?
And
You
go ahead, Jillian.
Yeah, so I think there's certainly a place for them. Um, I think. Well, let's talk about girlfriends.
Okay.
Let's just tackle that for a
Yeah,
second.
we're gonna have a show on that as well.
We are. Um, so when I was dating, and it was my boyfriend, the expectation is that we benefit from each other. I got it, you got it. You my ride or die. So my assumption is it should. I think it still should be that way if you've been dating for a while.
Right.
Like if you guys are. This is my girl. I think you also need to. This is just my take. I think you need to also keep things close to your chest. They don't have to absolutely know all your financial. You can certainly spin and wine and dine and all that. I believe you can do that, but I think you should certainly keep all of your personal finances close to your chest because it is not your spouse.
Mm.
It's
Ooh.
not your spouse,
Ooh.
right? It's your girlfriend. I have never seen girlfriend on paperwork. I've never seen girlfriend on a
Right.
title. I've never seen girlfriend on legal papers.
That's
It's
right.
so I think girlfriend should be girlfriend. You should date. You should, if you have the wherewithal, I think you should, I won't say take care, but entertain. But I also believe that you will see that person's motive. Like, what are they really? Because if they're constantly like this, if they're constantly and they're not, even if they're working, they're not giving you.
Yeah.
And so girlfriends at this age and if you're making a significant amount of money, it can be tricky because you might be questioning why are they really there.
Well, I'm gonna say,
Okay.
if I was 18, 19, 20, 21, and I had a boyfriend and I wanted my boyfriend would be my son because he's a good boyfriend. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this, girlfriends, they're sweet. And I will say they're young. But when you have a young lady, like Jillian was saying, you look at their heart. But I've been a girlfriend before too. And most girls want guys to spend money on them, not in a negative way when you have a good heart, but they're just going to do it automatically, not because you're begging them to do it for them, right? Mm-hmm. But you're right. I like how Tony said, girlfriends should have limited access to finances until married.
Absolutely.
Point blank.
Point blank. I'm gonna say, like, it's hard stop.
Yeah. And I'm not saying this in a negative way, but if they do have access, then they need to understand that we got this whole other team over here that makes sure that our son is doing what he needs to do. And one thing I can say about my son's girlfriend, she makes her own money, right?
Yeah.
She makes her own money. She works and she go to school. So when you're making your own money, it's like, yeah, I got my own, and then I could be able to assist you too. And then maybe when they take it to the next level, if marriage is in their picture in the future, which hopefully it will, because you invested a lot in these people, right? You're investing. Yeah. So I think that it comes to the point of you don't make them feel bad because first of all, it ain't us. The parents ain't spending the money. It's the young men. I know it's the young men that may be spending money on their girlfriends, and it's okay so long as money does not become the focal point of the relationship. That when the money is gone, you're gone too.
That part. And I also believe that parents, again, depending upon how old they are, if in the age that you are coaching and giving your child advice, you got to have those conversations. You got to talk to your son or your daughter about them dating and money and how much money is being spent. And boundaries and conversations that you have to have. I'm actually going going to see my son this weekend. I'm going to have a conversation with him about dating and just being focused, right? Because we think both of us said, it's our child's third year. These are some very
Critical.
important times.
Yes, critical years.
And so, we're talking about finances, but when we talk about girlfriends and the reason why you can get an NIL deal because of your performance.
Yes.
And so if your performance is going to be impacted by a girlfriend, something got to go.
Well, I'm gonna say this. It's always good that if the girlfriend is close to your son, you get close to the girlfriend and you bring her into the family and say, this is how we running things. You get on the board or you don't.
You got to have
You do not let no one come in and mess up what you and your family have built because a girlfriend is coming in saying something different. Thank God that I'd say Samaj has a good girlfriend. But when it comes down to what you as a family built, the empire of what you guys are doing, how this thing is rolling, and eventually your son will take over his own thing and you allow it when he's ready, because our son wants us to be. What you want to do is not let any young lady or young man, because we're talking about girls too, Jillian, come in and mess up what you got. So you can't come in messing up the bag, as one might say, because you can't do that.
No, it's interesting. I compare it to this. So what I do at Amazon, I'm part of a team called Learning and Development.
Yeah.
So each person that comes into where the company that I work for, we go through their onboarding. And we talk to them about the culture of the organization and how things are done here. Like, for example, I work for Microsoft. I had previously, before I came to Amazon, I'm just going to say the company I work for, I had a different mentality of how things were ran at Microsoft. And so when I came up, they were like, well, no, we're going to make you an Amazonian. These are how things are done. And so I had an onboarding process to learn the culture of how things were done here.
I love that, Jillian.
It needs to be done. When you bring a person into the Blackwell family, there's a culture and way we do things here. That we're raising godly young men. So godly young men don't do certain things. And if they do, he's a grown man, I'm still going to check it, right?
Right.
So you have to bring them into the fold. I've had a conversation with both of my son's girlfriend.
Yeah, I have too.
I just want you to know the type of person that my husband and I are raising, not raising, because as long as they're in our house, we're still raising them, right? So I think if you use that analogy, you got to make sure they understand, like you said, you can't change things over here. This is how things are done. Now, until you his wife, until you took Morgan or Blackwell, it's a whole different story.
And I'm going to tell you this, as a mom, I'm going to be honest. When my son gets married and he loves the young lady he's with, we love her. They've been together for almost 3 years now. When it comes down to my position changing with my son when he is married, I know how to take a seat in the back. Meaning, I love my son, but I know how to say, you know what? But that's your wife. What I'm not going to do is come between her. And if she comes and say, well, this is how we doing the money this time, you know what I'm going to do? Have at it. Have at it. Because here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to destroy my relationship with my son for the benefit of keeping control over his money. And that's why we're getting down to really whose money is it anyway. We're going to help preserve. We're going to help them get to the next level. But eventually, we're not going to always be here. So we need to know that, right?
Yeah. So the thing is, what you're doing now, I tell my son, I can just say this about my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law did an amazing job.
That is awesome.
I want my future daughter-in-laws to say, that woman right there did an amazing job. Yeah. And a part of the amazing job is making sure you don't spend. So when girlfriend come on the scene, they like, we got what? Because mom and dad helped you make sure. So I've seen couples and women come into the fold and the mama don't know how to let go and it destroys everything. You cussing out I'm like, you cussing out the daughter-in-law? Cussing out the mom?
Yes,
no,
ma'am.
We're not doing that. When you're part of the family, you're part of the family. When you take on so again, you have to make sure that you know going in that I know how to release. I'm
Yeah, and knowing your place. I mean,
knowing
and that's in any process of what we're dealing with our kids. We're in the huddle, but there are different huddles that we're bringing, right? We're in the
Mhm.
huddle with you, young man, but you know what? Eventually, you're going to be in a huddle with your family. And we
Yeah,
want to make sure you have a family to build and a legacy to build upon, which is why we do what we do,
yeah.
right? And if you
It's
build it right, you build it right, then it will come to a time where your kid will build back into you,
absolutely.
if
I
that
love
makes sense.
I
Oh,
love
we
it.
got one more question, Jillian.
Yes, yes.
Oh no. Ooh. One more question on girlfriends. Being black and having black sons in today's society, how do moms in a huddle feel about other ethnic girls wanting to date your sons? This is a noticeable setup of some sort. I'm just saying. Woo, you really bringing this to the huddle, Jody.
Yeah.
Well,
So
okay.
I so my so
Yeah.
I can go first.
Yeah.
So again, I have three sons. My oldest son has had a girlfriend the last 2 years. She is Caucasian,
Okay.
and my middle son has dated multiple nationalities. His current girlfriend is Latino, and she's mixed. Uh, but here has always been my prayer that these women, first of all, one, love God. Two, love my son. And
Yes.
three, love me and my husband. And if they love that, I'm good. Now, again, one of the things that I say all the time, people who know me, I'm trying to find a good book. I know, I
Hmm.
know. So people who know me, because I am, an advocate for our people, and I normally do this. I got my fist in one hand, fight the power, and I got the other. And so you have to have a balance because you don't want this to be over this. So you can still fight for your people, be an advocate for your people, but the word of God trumps everything, right? And so and that didn't come overnight because again, I struggle with both. You know,
Mm.
I'm like, why you ain't try? Why you don't like nobody look like me? You don't like what's
Oh,
happening?
wow.
But you
Wow.
have to, and that's why you have to have a relationship with God. It was like my prayer was, Father, I want them to love and know you,
Yes.
right? And then when they love and know you and they love my child and they have respect and honor and love me and my husband, I'm good. Now, did that come overnight? No. I mean, no. That was a
Yeah.
heart, thing. God said, search my heart, know my thoughts. And he did.
Well,
He's
thank you
like,
for being truthful about that, Jillian. You said something like, well, you don't like someone that look like me. But you know what? I'm going to tell you this. My thing is intentions with
yes.
any girl. Rather you come in, and I will say you will maybe see a lot of different things. People will take where a lot of young ladies are in the world. They'll see a young black man going to the next level and may leech on to them early or leech on to them after they made their millions. And we see different things that'll happen because she may not be a black young lady, and then they'll think, well, the black girl, all they want is your money, right? But then we got to say maybe the one white girl or the Latino girl or the Asian girl may want it too, right?
Right.
My biggest thing is intentions. If the
That's
intent is to come into this young man's life because he has money
that's wrong.
and you're a different ethnic group, that's where I draw the line,
Oh
because
yeah.
I'm gonna see where your heart is. But
Right.
if your intentions is like you just said, Jillian, is to come in, you love God, you love my son, you love me, we have great relationship with you, and this is a healthy relationship for my son, and I see him happy,
Yeah.
then I could say, I will welcome you into the family. But
Yeah.
some moms, Jillian, won't. Some moms say, no, you're not bringing her home.
Yeah.
You
Oh
know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And Jody said she want to know from real moms who have successful athlete sons. Thank you, Jody. I mean, and that's something in which that's why we're going to be having Q&A for you guys to ask questions like this.
Yeah.
This isn't just know what, Jillian. oh, we're just giving all these great little answers because everything isn't about great answers. And
Right.
let's see, Jack Van Den Bosch said, with good intentions and good heart. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it right there for me, Jillian.
Yeah.
I need to know what your intentions are. If your intentions, and you are from another race, regardless of it, and you come into my son's life,
Right.
my issue with you will be, why are you here?
Right.
Would
And
you want my son if he didn't have the money?
right. And they will show up. I mean, people, listen,
Yeah.
one thing that woman has is intuition. And it's something about a mama. We got the extra intention. And don't be a child of God, then you got Holy Spirit. You're gonna identify
Mm-hmm.
what the real deal is. And if you have a good relationship with your child, then you can speak into your child's life
Yeah.
and allow that. No, what? Let me back up. Then you can pray and ask God to reveal to him. I'm a big firm believer in God. God revealing everything. Take the boundaries off. Let him see. And so I think people can only hide their intentions for so long till it comes out.
You're right. And Jody is saying there is a proven pattern. That's all I'm saying. And that cannot be ignored in a successful Black athletes. Like, I think what Jody's talking about, we're not talking about my son or Jillian's son. Let's just look at it from a different lens.
Statistically.
And I like, Jody, what you're saying. Statistically, we will see a Black athlete that may make it and begin to make it, and they're going to the next level. And then when they're making it and they're getting drafted, whether the NBA or NFL, who do they have on their arm? They got a little, I'm not going to say her name. They may have a young lady on their arm that's not of their same culture. So people are looking and saying, or they've just made all their millions. They got all these millions of dollars. And, Tiger Woods, I'm just going to throw that out there. Then you go and get somebody and bring them into your life. And then here's what happens, right? Then they come and take you for all your money. And they was a little maid, but you thought that we were going to take you for all your money. Right. So there's a balance with this, that she's talking about a proven pattern of these things happening, because the Bible tells us what, Jillian, that the love of money is the root of all evil. So when people love money so much, which we go back to intentions, they will intentionally come into someone's life to mess it up and not have right intentions. And you're right. Those type of situations with people's heart, it cannot be ignored.
Now I want to paint a picture. I want to talk about this because we think about what that individual was exposed to. So I'm going to, and I know we're not talking about our children, but let's just talk about.
Yeah, we're not talking about our kids.
A little guy named Mike. And Mike,
hey Doug.
Hey Doug, his parents want to put him in a good school, right? So the good school is the private school. And the good school, because it's a private school, may not have, Doug might have one or two girls who look like him, but the majority of the school is somebody. So he's starting off elementary, middle school. He goes to another private school in Highland Park, whatever. He's exposed to, that's his friends, his community.
Yeah.
He's around someone that may look like him, as a family reunion, cousins.
Right.
But oftentimes, if you look at statistically,
and
if they have a little bit of money, a little bit of affluence, they're going to the private schools. They're exposed to things that perhaps Jessica and Tanya are not at. So they don't see Jessica.
You mean Vaquisha
and them. They not there.
Shanae them. Okay.
They not there. Right?
They're not there.
And the only time they're though, that's what they're accustomed to. So they gravitate towards that. That's what I've seen over and over again. So it may look like they instantly got this fame and that's what they chose, but it was what they grew up around.
Could have been. Yeah.
Could have been. And they gravitate. Now, that's not always the case, because we still got some homeboys from Alabama. That's all they knew. But I've seen cases that will explain. Well, you look at some of his old pictures. He went to prom with.
He went to prom with her. That's right.
He went to college with. That's all. Yeah. I remember. I was again using my son. My son goes to Wisconsin. The population.
Yeah.
It's very low, especially, and then in the sports arena. So So you have to look at what are we exposed. That's one of why the organizations like Jack and Jill exist, right? So
Yeah.
you gotta expose. And so again, there's nothing. I'm going back to. I don't think there's anything wrong with. I have this whole philosophy that the Bible talks. This is a whole nother subject. Bible
Yeah,
talks
this
about
is
God.
the question. I'm just putting a question up for our people that are just joining. We had a question come in. This is the time to ask your questions, but go ahead, Jillian.
Yeah. But I just have this whole philosophy. The scripture talks about, I'm not trying to preach, but the scripture talks about he's coming for a church without spot or wrinkle. I
Yeah.
believe in my own head that one of the spots and wrinkles is this division that we have in the body of Christ. And one of black and white. One of the things I believe that God is going to do, he's allowing our children to
Mhm.
marry each other. And he said, now I want y'all to deal with that.
Yeah.
Y'all got this issue. He's coming for a body.
He
One
is.
body,
He
black,
is.
white. But again, I still struggle with fight the power.
But Jillian, I think here's why this is being brought up, I think, by Jody. We see her Afrocentric hairstyle, which is very beautiful. Jody, we know you black pride, black proud, right? Right. So here's the situation, right? I think it's a real issue in the world that people don't talk about it because they want to put a band-aid on certain things. And now that we're moms in a huddle, like she said, we have successful sons. We're seeing Travis Hunter or other young men out here in the world are saying, wait, don't you know, she probably wouldn't have talked to you, but if you had money, which takes it back to the intention. I think that, who was it? I think it was, I want to say Shannon Sharp made a statement about, I'm not going to get with a black woman because all they want is your money, right? Or he didn't want to date black women anymore, right? His perception shifted when $23 million of his money was just taken by a Caucasian young lady. Yeah. So I asked, which perception was true for him?
Come on now.
So I think that we talk about it, but it can be respectfully conversated to be discussed. Absolutely. Because it tends to be a big issue in the athletic community.
100%. Yeah.
It just is. And so that's why Moms in a Huddle is one of those shows that we are going to talk about it. Tasha Gibson, thank you. Bestest. See, like, that's what it is. And it's good to be okay with whatever heritage you're from. I'm from everybody. Have right intentions toward people. For me, it's a heart thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Regardless of, it's a heart thing, Jillian. So, Jillian, we got one more thing to cover. I mean, we're getting some good questions.
It is 8:07.
Oh my God. And Jillian, you know how we are. And see, remember, we normally have our guests on, but me and you, man, we said we're going to have another Q&A. And I want people to come back for more Q&A. You know what I'm saying? What is this? Doug, what did you say? KRS once said, love's going to get ya.
KRS what?
I love you, Doug. Doug was on our show. We love Doug. Him and his beautiful wife, Allie. They're over there in West Bloomfield at Frameable Faces if you need photos taken. So, Doug, we just gave you a shout out there. We love you. So, thank you. So, hi, Jazzy. That's Jazzy. She's saying, loving the podcast. Thank you and welcome. Thank you. So, I will say it's one of those things where, Jillian, we are learning as a society, and I like that you brought it right back to what scripture says. God is coming for a church without a spot or wrinkle. It doesn't matter what, he's not looking at what he don't care if you're green, white, yellow, orange. But here's what happens, or black. It's about it's a heart thing. And that's where I'm at. Your heart motive will reveal who you really are.
Yeah. And that brings us back to to our topic. Whose money is it anyway? Mm-hmm. What's your heart motive when now God has blessed you with money? What is your heart telling you? So even if it's Nene and them calling you, or Pookie and them asking, what is your heart saying about that situation? How should you respond to it? Right? How should you respond to either asking your parents, do they need support, or just observing and then doing something about it? Or, what's your heart motive in everything that you do? So I love that. Bring it all the way back.
And I will say, here's the thing. If you don't set boundaries early, then the money that fly out faster than it can fly out faster than it came in. And then you'll be left trying to explain why you can't help out anymore to family, right?
Yes, yes.
Family and friends, Jillian, how does that look? Do you go into business venture with a friend or family because you got the money and then they see your money coming in? They like, I got a business idea. Is it your idea or is it their idea?
Yeah, that's tricky because everybody gonna have an idea when they're spending your money, right?
Ooh.
Right. You're gonna have so many, and you have to, I got real life examples about all this. My son has a friend who has a clothing line and
Mm-hmm.
do some things. When I asked him, well, you got to show me the business plan. And he's a young guy, and he
Yeah.
sent me a couple pages, and I said, well, this is doing out a business plan. So I helped them develop the business plan.
Yeah.
And so they're in partnership together, but they had a partnership agreement. They had so their partnership is just for 3 months. So let's see how we can do this from now until the end of the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had, terms in there that Jonathan's not legally responsible for anything you do. So you have to separate the business and, who's financially responsible, what's his return on his investment before with the proceeds. So you have to have a plan. So if they have a great plan, I don't think it's anything wrong with that, but you can't. One of the things that I think athletes who come into this money, young, old, they have to learn how to say no. No,
I love that.
No is a complete sentence. No.
Period.
Now, depending on how close you are, you could explain the why behind the no, right? But I think if they have a legitimate business plan, you have some terms and conditions in there that you're not jeopardizing that person's name, image, and likeness.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be financially liable to anything. They're not going to be right. But if you have a plan in place, I think it makes sense on paper, and you execute it. You have a window when you can stop and see how is this progressing. Okay. And then if it's not progressing in the direction, you say, well, we tried. Not going to happen.
Yeah. And you know what, Jillian? I'm going to disagree with you on that.
Okay. All right.
But here's why.
That's good.
Here's why I'm going to disagree with you. I love it that you are, because here's the thing. You're adult parenting your kid the way you want. We all do, right?
Right.
But I'm going to say the reason I disagree partly with what you're saying, everything you said was good information. But the reason I'm going to disagree with if someone comes to you, family or friends, with a business plan, and they're bringing a business plan that looks like it can work out. My first question to my son is this their idea? Is this your idea? Is it in your heart? Because every good idea is not a God idea. Right. And I don't want my son to invest money in other people's vision and purpose. And it's not his, because you think about it. I seen that when my son operated in sports, he's on that path in college.
Right.
It's like the sprout opened for him. When we were in ministry school, I remember Dean Gregory, Jillian. I don't know if you remember this. He talked about a sprout versus the flood or a flow, right? Mm-hmm. He talked about when you go into the kitchen and you turn on the water, right? Dean Gregory, shout out to you, because I love this and I still remember this. He said, you turn on the water, and if you get a trickle, you just get a trickle. He was equating it to us really putting the word in us to where it will flow. But he said, but if you only get a trickle and then things are just trickling down, it's a difference when you turn the sprout on and it's full blast and it flows.
Right.
So I say that and use that example. You can get a trickle from other people's visions of what they're doing because it's not in you. Think about when what you do, that's where the flow comes. I only seen it in my son's life. The flow of his talent that the Bible say his gift will make room. Your gift will make room for you and bring you before great men. When I see his gift flow, I see finances coming, NIL deals coming. Now, here's the thing. Other things may start coming into play, but it got to be something that God put in you. You cannot go and finance, and I'm not saying that this is your situation. You cannot go and finance another man's vision and make it your own. Now, you can support and invest if you'd like, but I think that it comes to a point where that's why we're teaching them it really is your money. Whose money is it anyway? It's really your money. Make the right choices.
Absolutely. And in that particular instance, it was something that he always wanted to do, did not have the finances to do it. And so the
I love it.
time, right. And
Okay.
so yeah, so if it's just, I love Pookie now, and that's my cousin.
We got
No.
Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles up in here. Yeah.
Right, right.
Well, Jack Van Den Bosch, I love that name. Ladies, what would you say is the hardest part of you both about the NIL collective, negotiating a plan, setting boundaries as mothers, or even who is allowed in on the plan? I love that question.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Well, I think the reason why we're actually on this call and the reason why we have
Yeah.
Moms in the Huddle is because I was going through a negotiation, and that was eye-opening.
Hmm.
That was very interesting. And what did I do? I called Erica. Although I had an attorney, I said, girl,
She
what am I
was.
doing? And so we had our aha moment, like, we really need to help other parents because we can't be going through this alone.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think the hardest part was this new landscape, and it
Hmm.
was an interesting time. So I'll say that was mine. So I'll pause. What about you, Erica?
I would say the hardest thing that I learned about negotiating or anything with the NIL collective is to let someone else and go, here's the thing. Someone else come and sit and talk with my son and my husband and myself, but then go in and negotiate and talk for us. Because there are times in which we don't know this landscape. And to me, all of the schools seemed like they were on one page with how they were doing a lot of things, right? I didn't know a lot about it. All I ask is that wherever my son is that they really, if they want to invest in him and if they want to pay him for what he's worth, that they are truthful and honest in what they believe. And I told my son, if a place don't think you're worth something, then that's on them. But what we're going to do is we're going to go into the negotiation. And he told me, he said, yeah, Mom, we're going to go into the negotiation being grateful and not greedy because I wasn't making any money before.
Yeah.
So with that in our mindset, I just feel it's best for other people to go in and negotiate for us. Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't, because I think that I would be more, um, more vocal, or I mean, it's good for moms that want to go in there and do it. That's great. But for our family, this is what we want to do. But our biggest thing was being grateful and not greedy on certain things. And with that in mind, that helps. And that's how we plan it as a family. Sometimes my husband may wanted to call or somebody else wanted to, but we said no, we'll at this point we'll leave it where it is. And here's the thing. I said, go produce, because cream rise to the top.
Come on
People
now.
will see your worth if you want more money.
Go Purdue.
Don't
But
come in thinking that you about to make $30 million. Some people it'll happen for, but
right.
go in and work. And that's what
That's
my kid does. He
that's
works his tail off. And that's what his school sees. They see
it.
that Samaj Morgan works his tail off. And so we're going to make sure we take care of him.
Right. And so I'm also going to say this about Erica, but she's also an attorney. So yes, she can go in there and have somebody represent, but she knows some stuff, right? So she knows.
Let me tell you.
Erica knows what questions to ask. Other parents don't.
Yeah.
She has. So I know some things from a marketing side that might be in a contract. I'm like, no, that ain't good, right?
Yeah.
Because I've had 30-something years of marketing in corporate America. Erica's an attorney. So the point that I'm making, based upon your background and the knowledge that you have, Erica can go in and say, I want somebody to negotiate, blah, blah, blah. But she's also talking to that attorney, like, what about
Absolutely.
this? Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very interesting, but that's why we created this platform, because I don't know everything. Erica doesn't know everything. We want to create a community to learn from each other.
Yes. Yes.
We want our kids to have I love the Badgers. I love where my son is.
Yes.
Right. I want him to enjoy his time, his season.
Yes.
Right. And I came in, I had somebody tell me, because I was what's the word? I was I won't say I was emotional, but I was I wanted him to be at the school. And somebody
Mhm.
said, well, you know what? If they find another player, you are emotional about it, but are they emotional? Are they that emotional about your child? So I had to put on,
Ooh,
oh, wow. I didn't even think about that
shell
because
shock.
they were saying this is still a business to the university.
Oh my
And
God.
you got all your heart in and you go Badgers. And so thank God the negotiation was really well. It went really well on both sides.
Yeah.
Um, it was just an eye-opening experience for me. I was like, wow. And I've done it in corporate America, but it's different when it's your baby.
When it's your baby, because you know what? You tend to think everybody love my baby like I love my baby, right? And I will say, I love Michigan. Michigan is an amazing school. Go blue. But when in business, be men. I taught my son that. When in business, be men. Handle it the way that it needs to be handled.
Yeah.
And
See
and
that?
yeah.
Do you see that attorney come out? Did you see that? I'm pointing at the script. Did you see Attorney Morgan? That's how the law.
Let me tell you, Jillian, don't shortchange yourself, because Jillian, like, I'm not signing this contract. Did you see this clause, this clause, this clause? Jillian will call it down. I'm like, Jillian, well, yeah, you're right. Because you're right, Jillian, you'll bring a lot of the marketing aspects to help me understand, like, Erica, we can't do this. This is kind of, off kilter here. But I will say, guys, you guys had some amazing questions tonight. Jillian, we went an hour and 21 minutes, but this is our norm. But we need to do more Q&As. People have questions.
I love this. Yeah.
I do too.
So I don't have a marketing moment. We talked about it, right?
Yeah,
You got to.
I do. And the reason that I'm going to, we're going to put this legal. Oh, well, we can put it up there. Here's why I want to put the legal moment on here, because we're talking about whose money is it anyway. And one of the things I did bring up about going into business, here's what a lot of people don't know. This is the legal tip for a lot of our athletes out there that is making money and that may want to invest in someone else's dream or vision, or, it's our time to open up a business with my friend. Now, you may have disclosure rules at your school. What does that mean? Many schools and states require athletes to report all NIL deals and financial transactions tied to their NIL activities. So you need to understand that before you go in on a deal, what is the ownership rights? Jillian talked a little bit about what she has with her son and someone else, right? What are the ownership rights? What is the structure of the deal? What are the securities law risks, right? What are tax consequences? Or the family member or the fiduciary rules. Understand this: a mismanagement or misuse of the funds that you've invested. If the relative mismanages the business, the athlete could lose their investment in the business, right? Also, blurring personal and business boundaries without clear contracts. Disputes can become personal and damage your family relationships. Okay. Self-dealing concerns. If the athlete is also involved in promoting the business using a NIL, they need to make sure any compensation or revenue splits are clearly documented. So what am I saying here? How do you protect yourself in order to reduce the risk as an athlete? Number one, put everything in writing. Create a legal investment or partnership agreement. Separate personal and business funds. That means if you're investing in someone's business, make sure you have personal and business funds. This will avoid commingling your NIL income with family money and dealings that you're going into business with someone. Hire a good CPA and an attorney to review the tax implications and the legal protections. And then number 4, do your due diligence. Treat it like any other professional investment. Review the business plans, financials, and potential liabilities. That's my legal note. And I wanted to say that because when you're talking about money, it's all fair and good until you start losing it.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah. So, Jillian, wow.
That was good.
What a show. What a show.
Oh, yes. I love it. I love these conversations. I've learned so much today. Oh, thank you, Jack.
Yes, Jack, thank you. He said y'all are the real pioneers in this new NIL era, which is why the Moms in a Huddle podcast is a great tool to have. It really is. It really is. Sequita, the beautiful Sequita. She's our other team mom. Go Blue. Great discussion tonight. Phenomenal, ladies. Thank you for joining us, Sequita Stewart. She's the mom of Imarion Stewart. He's a wide receiver, going to have a breakout year too, I hope. In Jesus' name, all our boys are going to do great this year. Yes. And so the moms in the huddle want to thank everyone. Thank you, Jack. And then look at that. I got to put that up there. That's good, bestest. That's my best friend, guys. If you guys don't know who she is, you probably will meet her one day because we're going to bring her in the huddle probably as well.
We got to bring our besties on because
we do have to bring our besties.
Been in the huddles with us.
Yes, they've been in the huddles with conversations. So, well, Jillian, we about to go out because we can talk forever, as y'all see.
Yeah. Yes,
but we're going to have another one next week. I do want to talk about next week's show.
Okay.
We're going to have Curtis Blackwell on. If you guys don't know who Curtis Blackwell is, make sure you tune in.
Yeah.
You talk about a pioneer in sports and getting our boys scholarship offers at many different Division I, putting kids in the NFL. And I think they got basketball, cheer program. You're talking about a pioneer. We're bringing him on. And so I want everyone to join us next week. We're going to be talking with Coach Blackwell and his legacy and what he's building through Sound Mind, Sound Body.
And that's not my husband. He just
no, that's not her. That happens to be your family member. Y'all related somehow.
Yeah, it's my husband's cousin, but he just happens to have a phenomenal last name.
I know, right? Right. That's how we connected. So that's how we're in a huddle together. But
absolutely.
Yeah, SMSB is awesome, Doug. Well, I will say, Jillian, what do you have?
Say it again.
What do you have? How are we leaving?
Where you at? Moms in the huddle.
Where they at?
In the huddle.
Moms in the where they at?
In the huddle.
Moms in the huddle. Where they at?
In the huddle.
That's the anthem. Get them hands up. Hey, I promise you we're going to get a song out,
We're
guys.
We're going to have our jingle together.
Yes. We love you guys. Have a blessed night. See everyone later.